Welcome, college basketball fans, to the Full Court Press Podcast with LT and Sammy D. This is the podcast that brings you legendary stories from college basketball's golden era and dives in deep with a current analysis of today's game. Get ready for the most energetic and entertaining college basketball podcast around. Let's get it.
There's a song, it's called Raining Tacos, but it's raining Sammys. We got Sammy D back on the show. He left me for a little bit. I promised he was coming back. He's back. I'm so excited.
I'm happy to be back, LT.
Yes, it's raining tacos. You see, I got kids. That just dates me. But welcome to another Full Court Press, a college basketball coach's experience. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, follow it on our social media channels, wherever you follow the Full Court Network. One of our favorite programs, Sam brainwashed me into this program, and I love this program. I was there when they won the conference championship. I was on the floor. Sam, I still have the purple and silver streamers in a pocket. I still not washed. I got a hug from their coach, but this is the grand mastermind, the genius behind the Colorado State Rams. New head coach, Coach Ali Farokhmanesh. Welcome to the Full Court Press, Coach.
No, thank you guys for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Sam's like, what the hell am I doing here? Sam,
I know.
I want to ask one question, and then you can ask whatever you want. Okay.
All right. Go for it.
This is our first Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. First person on the cover of Sports Illustrated on the show. Well, Mike Bibby might have been on it. But what I want to know, Coach, if you're daydreaming, okay, of 2010, in your mind, what was a bigger shot? UNLV in the first round, which a lot of people don't talk about, or that next game against Kansas?
I think you're the only person that talks about that. No one else has ever brought that up to me, to be honest. From a basketball standpoint, the UNLV shot, because that was way deeper. It was not more on the line, but to be honest, I felt like the long story of that is I gave up a 3 on the other end. I actually helped in and shouldn't have helped in and gave up a 3 to tie the game. So it was my fault that we were even in that situation. But how it happened and from where it was on the court, like that, from a basketball standpoint, that was way more to me and meant more to me. From the magnitude of what it was and the moment of what it was in the Kansas game, that aspect trumps the UNLV one. But we don't get to Kansas without the UNLV one first, too.
Yep.
So I'll just take both.
Yep. That's okay. You can have both because you did both, Coach.
Did both. That's for sure. So
no, I'll take it. No one has ever actually brought that up to me or even compared the two. Like I actually, it's funny that you brought that up because I always joke because like everyone will be like, oh, just one shot guy or whatever. And I'm like, it was 2. It was 2.
Listen, you're not the college basketball Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, exactly. It was a 2-shot wonder.
Well, and people don't understand. Without that shot, there would have been no Kansas upset.
No, exactly. And it was, I would take both of them every day of the week. And for us to be in that situation, it was a pretty special run for us.
Yep, absolutely.
So talk a little bit about, you move from community college to go to UNI, right? You hit those 2 shots, become a national name, then you play overseas, then start your coaching career, like now you're head coach, right? At a great program, right? Can you talk a little bit about like where you kind of see your legacy so far within your career and kind of some mentors that have kind of helped you along that way?
Man, that's a long list. It starts with my parents first and foremost. They're both coaches as well. They coach.
Who was the better coach?
Well, so my mom is the better head coach. My dad's probably is the tactician, skill coach. Okay. So I played the fence on that one. But they're like that's where it started for me with coaching. And then, man, I've had so many influences over the years from people probably don't even remember half the people I'll list off. But Paul Graham, who was a coach at Washington State, had an influence on me and allowed me to be in the gym with his players when I was like 9 years old. Then it went to Kevin Eastman, who was eventually with the Boston Celtics and won an NBA championship. But I played basketball with his son, who's now a scout with the Celtics as well. Then you go to the Bennetts, and my mom was the one that helped Dick Bennett tour Washington State to see if it made sense for me to even come. So met him at 11 o'clock. I still remember she went to meet him at 11 o'clock at night to tour the facilities, so nobody knew. And then Tony Bennett worked me out when I was a little kid with Kirk Penny, and I still remember that to this day. So the list for me is just, I mean, that's even before I got to high school. And then you go to my high school coaches, and I had a great high school coach in Steve Bergman, who's one of the winningest coaches in Iowa history. And then I go to junior college, and I had a coach named Doug Wagemeister, who's now an assistant at Mississippi State. And then I go on to Coach Jacobson at Northern Iowa. And through that process, then I get to meet Isaac Chu, who kind of got me introduced to Tim Miles. And then Tim Miles blew me off at first, but then gave me a GA position. And then throughout the years, even Jeff Linder, who we were just talking about, that's one person I constantly call about stuff, Ben McCollum. So I've been lucky that people have been invested in me and picked up the phone a few times, and I'm just stealing from everybody else. And I think I've always built kind of my basketball career. And then now the coaching career is go ask people that you think do it better than you and do things that you want to do and see how they do it and see if it fits into who you are and what you want to build going forward. You got to be yourself, but nitpicking from every different person and taking different things from them has really built me to what I want to do and what I want it to look like going forward. And then obviously it ends with Nico then too. You're with someone for 8 years. It's hard not to have some influence on them. So I've been blessed with a lot of good coaches, a lot of good people at the same time. And I think that's probably the bigger point of this, is that I've been around some good people that are about the right values about their life. And I think it's the old quote from Don Meyer that more people get fired for things outside of the wins and losses. And I'm been surrounded with some pretty good people that have won a lot of games, but also have done it the right way. And that's why they are where they are today.
Yeah, Don Meyer, pick up the trash, one of his 3 principles.
Yeah.
Well,
we need Sonny and Steve on here. Like, I don't know all the quotes. I just know that one.
Yeah.
Coach Smiley's written a book about him. Like, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. So talking a little bit about Nico, I mean, he transitions into Minnesota, right? The AD at Colorado State, John Weber, puts out a statement saying he's moving you to interim head coach, and then they're doing a national search.
And Coach, when that whole happened, both Sam and I were pissed that you were the interim. And he knows. Sam's laughing, but it's true. I'm like, what are they doing?
So I remember calling LT like middle of the season, or no, it was probably towards the second half of the season. You guys had a blowout win against Utah State, and like I throughout the season, I saw Nico. It was almost like this shift was happening throughout the season, where this confidence with you calling more plays, you leading timeouts, like you just having more of a voice on the sidelines throughout the season was happening throughout the year. And so when John Weber makes that statement, not just us, but it felt like the entire like Northern Colorado community, Colorado State fans, alumni, the students, they were all like, Coach Ali's the guy for the job. What are we waiting for? Like, did you hear that kind of support?
Yeah, I heard it a lot. My wife was pissed too. But it was so cool to see that, like that support and and people reaching out that honestly people reach out to me. I didn't have their numbers. And I think that was what was cool. And that's why I wanted to stay more than anything else too, is like the community and what we built here in the community. You don't find that everywhere. So I knew what this was and how lucky I was to have the opportunity to be there. And to be honest, like, I was excited. I was the interim coach at that point. That was the highest title I'd ever had. So I was like, oh, this is awesome. So that it was, I wasn't frustrated at all. I kind of wanted to go through the process also. So I knew like I was the guy for the job. Like there was they went out and they did do a national search. And I think for them to come back and still decide like I was the right guy for the job, I think that speaks volumes to them as well. And I think that should give people hopefully also the sense that I earned the job. It wasn't just that I slid over 18 inches. Like I went through a full interview. I was Zooming with them the next day, and then went to John Weber's house. So I went through a full process, and it also made me have to think about all the different things about the program and kind of organize my thoughts even more than what I had already. So I was happy about the process, and I can say that now that I got the job. But it was awesome to see that kind of support and people reach out and that genuine care for not only for me, but just for our program, that they wanted the best thing for the program. And I think that's what's been cool about being here again and seeing that. And you see so many more people coming out from the woodworks wanting to talk to you about Colorado State. And that logo 7 years ago when I used to go to Texas, it didn't pop a lot. And now when we move around and people see the logo, it's a proud to be call. It's a Go Rams call. And I think that's when you can tell where the program's at and where it's headed and what that team meant to people too, as well.
Yeah, I can tell you Akron, Ohio, where I live, knows about the Colorado State Rams because I bought my kids some swag. So, Sam and I both have said you have hit the ground running, and what you're putting together for next year. I mean, you lost a bit. I mean, Nique Clifford, freaking ball player. I mean, I got to see him Mountain West Conference tournament. You had a really good team, just all around team. You lost some, but you recruited really well. I mean, kind of tell us how the summer's going and kind of the expectation for, I guess, you're starting your legacy as a head coach at Colorado State.
Yeah, it's I'm 0-0 still, so I'm really good right now.
Undefeated, baby.
Exactly. It only lasts so much longer. But I really like the guys, the foundation of who we are, the character of the people in the room, that hasn't changed. And that's what I'm most proud of, what we did in the portal and what we did with the high school recruits and with our guys coming back. I don't want to forget them as well, because they're the real foundation of what this is. It's the character of the people in the room that set the culture. I can have whatever ideas I want to have about the culture and how I want it to look and whatnot, but if I don't have the right character of people, it doesn't matter. That's our culture. And so I think that's from a recruiting standpoint. And Nico always talked about it, like people, they got to check the rooms at midnight and check if their guys are running around like crazy. Well, that's not a program problem. That's a recruiting problem. And so for us, the biggest thing in the recruiting was finding people of the right character. And I believe we did that. Every single one of these guys is exactly who we thought they were in terms of people since they've been here this summer. And so I'm proud of that. I know our staff did a great job. We were intentional about that, how we researched that and found that out from people. And then the easiest part, the hardest part was not knowing how to set up a Zoom, the first Zoom we tried to do with a portal kid. Like that was embarrassing. Like we had 3 assistant coaches that all looked at each other like, all right, let's go. 6 o'clock. You ready? I'm ready. We all looked at each other, me, Deweese, Tim, we all staring at each other. And we kind of just looked at each other and were like, no one set up the Zoom, did they? Because we don't know how. And so we had to call and figure out how to get the Zoom set up. We were like 5 minutes late. Luckily, it was Josh Pasquarelli. He doesn't even know all this, but we were about 5 minutes late, and we get on there and we go from there. But setting up the Zoom was the hardest part. Then when we got on the Zoom, it was kind of that was the first time I felt like I was the head coach. Before I was still an assistant, like still making recruiting calls, still reaching out to these people. None of that changed. So for the first month, like there wasn't much change. It was just portal recruiting, which is what you do as a head coach too. Then it changed when I said, you always say this to kids, if the head coach is recruiting you, you know where you stand. And so one of our assistants starts talking like that. And while he's saying it, I kind of look around and I'm like, well, I am the head coach. And I'm like, yeah, I am recruiting. That's right. You're right. And so then it started to pick up where it was a different way that we were recruiting. And I was still recruiting like an assistant coach, but in a different chair. And that's what I want to keep going forward. I know I'm going to be pulled in different directions from things, but I can't lose that mentality as an assistant recruiting wise as the head coach. It will be different. But that was kind of the first like aha moment that I was the head coach was, yeah, like I am recruiting you. I am the head coach. That does mean more, So it was fun to go through that process. And my staff was awesome. Like they did a great job of identifying kids, figuring out who they were. And then also like, no one wants to talk about that, but knowing where the money was, did they fit within our wheelhouse in terms of what we could do from an NIL standpoint. And I thought we hit the target with a lot of our guys that we went after. And to be honest, there was 7 kids we brought on campus and 6 of them committed. So it wasn't, we didn't spend a ton of time in the portal and got after it right away.
Awesome.
Do you see who's going to kind of be the name of the program? You had Roddy, you had Isaiah, you had Nique, I mean, great NBA talent. I mean, throw Tanjay in there as well. Do you see continuing that kind of caliber of player?
That's what I want to get to. And my wife was talking to me the other day about it and was just talking about the team and everything. And I was like, well, she's like, what's different? And I was like, well, we don't have an NBA player. And she looked at me and she goes, well, no one thought Nique was an NBA player last year either. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. I don't know yet. And I think that's up to these guys to kind of prove it and get in the gym. And I like what I see, and there's a lot of good things going on, but shoot, I don't think anybody thought 6 games into the season last year that Nique was a first round pick even. And so for us, it's always been about growth and how you take the next step and knowing that you have to have some grace within that. It's not linear. It's going to take time. There's going to be some failure. There's going to be some shortcomings. How do you actually bounce back from that and embrace those things?
Yeah.
And we got some talented guys. I don't know what it's going to end up looking like quite yet, but I like who they are. I like what they're about, and they're in the gym constantly. And I think that's the best part about what the culture is stuck with is you can come to our gym and you're going to see guys before practice working out, and then you're going to see guys after practice working out, and then you're going to see them back on the gun at night. And I think that part of the culture hasn't changed. And so that's why I believe we're going to continue to have players that are going to be testing the NBA waters and going to the NBA or playing at the highest levels in Europe. And that's what I want, because that's who I was as a player. That's what I wanted. So we're going to continue to push guys to reach goals that they want to reach, but don't know how to get there quite yet.
Yeah. Did you got an invite at Barclays, right?
We were at the green room.
Experience like,
it was amazing to see someone's dream. I'm gonna try not to cry on this, but to see someone's dreams come like right before your eyes, like it doesn't happen very often. Like there's very few things in life that are surprising that move you to that level. Like the birth of your children. Like there's no experience like that. That the experience with Nique was different, but in that sense of seeing someone's dreams happen literally before your eyes in that moment, there's nothing that can compare to that. Especially knowing the kid for 6 years, and seeing the failures to seeing the rise, like that was a whole. You see, it was almost like a flash before your eyes. You see all those moments come through right when he's getting drafted. So to go through that was amazing. Being there for 7 hours was horrible. Like we were there from 4:30 to 11:45 at night. Nique and I looked at each other like we were like, man, we're 10 picks in and we're an hour and 45 minutes into this draft. So that'd be my only suggestion to Adam Silver was like, can we figure out a way to like that 5-minute time is up to make the pick thing is not that's not real. That's not happening. So that'd be my only suggestion for the draft is like, can we somehow not make it a 3.5 hour ordeal? But it was surreal to be there with him and in that moment. Man, there's nothing that can compare to that.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy because the one game I've seen in Fort Collins was unfortunately the game last year against Nevada. When we were there. I apologize for that one, but
I'm going to force everybody up the left side, by the way, from now on. That's the one change that I'm making in our program. Like, no more half-court shots going up the right sideline anymore. Like, we're going to force everybody left from now on.
Oh, my God. It was nuts. I mean, Isaiah hit that little, like, fadeaway jumper to get ahead, and then Jared Lucas, like, it just was kind of disgusting. But here nor there. But my point is was that you looked at Nique Clifford there, and I said this to Sammy, he's like a good athlete. I mean, Isaiah is a different animal, as is Nique, but he's like, he needs to be more, I don't want to say aggressive 2 years ago. And then seeing him in the flesh in Mountain West, I'm like, and Sam always said this long. I mean, this is an NBA player and not like a 1 or 2 year player, a journeyman, and like, like a contributor for a long time to come. And that's no offense to people that have played. I mean, I had friends that played 1 or 2 years in the NBA, which is phenomenal. But like what he did in that off season, I don't know what he did, but he went like he was already at one level. He went to like 10 other levels. Cause I mean, watching him just dominate games I'm like, this kid's the real deal. And I remember talking to his dad after the Mountain West Conference and like, just a great dude, his father just in itself.
No, I mean, it starts there, honestly. Like the circle around him is phenomenal. And you'd have no chance unless the people around you support you in the way that you need and tell you the truth too. And I think Nique's family and the people around him, like that's part of the reason why he was so successful. But that he stayed in the gym constantly and he bought into everything that we tried to develop with him too. I think that's it's easy to say you want to be developed. It's easy to say I want to grow and be an NBA player. But then when the truth comes out that your footwork's not great, your ball handling's not good enough, your shot needs cleaning up, well, how do you actually take that? And then how do you buy into that? How do you buy into that process of it? And you got to give him a ton of credit for it. Like the number one thing we said, the two things that we wanted to develop that junior year, his first year, was getting his jump shot right. And then he shot the highest percentage he shot in his career and the most made threes he had made. And then learning how to play off 2 feet and playing physical in the paint. And that changed dramatically. He had 28 dunks that year, and he only had 12, I think, in a season at Colorado. So he always had these finesse finishes, which is great. Like that's what makes him unique, right? Is that he can make some finishes that nobody else can. But that's not how you become an NBA player. You have to be the consistent, hard, tough finisher at the rim versus contact. And that changed dramatically that year. Then the next year, right, he's got to develop his ball handling. And then he had to develop his off the dribble shooting because we knew he was going to have the ball in his hands a little bit more than he did the year before. So we had to get some threes and be able to score off the dribble. And so we worked as off the dribble shooting constantly, whether it was mid-range threes, and then the ball handling picked up too. And give him a ton of credit. We always talk about this with our guys, but part of the blueprints of our development is like you're warmed up and ready for the workout before the workout starts. So you'll always see guys in the gym now before they start working out with their coach or whoever they're working with, and they're doing ball handling. And Nique was religious with it. I mean, every day before he'd work out with me, 5 minutes of ball handling. And then afterwards, he started doing it on his own and doing 5 minutes of ball handling afterwards too. And I think that's that buy-in to understanding like this is what's going to change my career and I'm going to do it every day consistently. Those were the biggest changes for him. And then obviously, I don't know if he said this to me. I think I'm not trying to preach on anything, but his relationship with God changed as well. And I think that's when you're grounded by something, whatever that is for every single person, but when something grounds you like that, it puts a different perspective on things for you. And I think and he'll gives credit to that his relationship with God also helped ground him and change the way his perspective on things. And, it was cool to see how many different changes he made in 20 months, really.
It's crazy. It's wild. So we talked a little bit about, how you kind of put the roster together for this next season, which I don't think we threw the stat out there, but I think when the portal closed, you had the number 1 ranked Mountain West portal class. So congratulations on that. But equally as important, I want to talk a little bit about the intention behind the coaching staff, because I think first-year head coach, that's almost just as important, if not more important, than what's on the court. You brought a couple guys back with Coach Ken, Coach Tim, Cole Gentry's coming back. But then you brought some guys in as well. And the one I love, which I think is an absolute steal, is Jimmy Foster. We watched a lot of Bradley games. I know he coached you at Kirkwood and stuff. And he was, when you saw Coach Wardle's name thrown around in a couple jobs over the past couple years, it was always, Jimmy Foster's going to take over this Bradley program and become a great head coach, right? What was that conversation? What was the intention behind the coaching staff? But then kind of focus on that conversation with Coach Foster and getting him to Fort Collins, Colorado State.
And more importantly, are you getting Brian Wardell a fruit basket for Christmas?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a different story. But no, with the staff though, the first 2 hires with Tim and Ken being able to stay with me, like that was huge. To have a guy like Ken that's had both of them actually, the amount of Mountain West experience and being in high level games, and obviously Tim as a player and a coach, but then you had DeWeese that's been at so many different programs and won at a lot of different places and places that are hard to win at as well. That was massive. And I know what type of recruiter Ken is because I used to go up against him when we recruited Texas. So I know what he's about, and I wanted that on my staff. And then obviously Tim, that guy has the most energy and positive energy that I've ever seen, but also can hold a kid accountable at the same time. And I think that is a rare thing to be able to do, is to understand I need that relationship, that positivity, but I'm going to hold you accountable to a certain standard of things. And Tim does a phenomenal job of balancing those two. And that made it easy, obviously, because those guys have been here, so they know what type of culture I wanted to look like, and that's who they are as people. Then obviously the next hire was Dave Pilipovich. And Dave didn't want to come here. He just wanted to live close to his kids. I joke with him all the time about that. But like Dave having Dave on staff, I don't. It's irreplaceable in the sense that his experience level, and for me, it's huge because he can see it from a 40,000-foot view as being a former head coach. Like, he knows what to look for. Like what I told you guys earlier, I don't know what I don't know yet. And so I have someone in my corner that can see the blind spots of things. And it's been huge for me. He'll randomly come up to me and make a suggestion and whisper it to me behind the closed doors of everybody else. And it's always from a head coaching perspective. And it's having Dave here has been huge. And obviously he knows the system. We've played against it, but also at Air Force ran similar type things that we do too. So having him here in that sense is huge. Then Cole, who you mentioned earlier, obviously being a GA for us for 2 years and then going away to be an assistant at Wright State in a good program. He gets it and understands what the culture is supposed to look like. And that's our goal too, is like, I want all our GAs to move on to be assistant coaches, and they're being groomed to be able to do that. And I take a lot of pride in that as well. It's like, we're not developing basketball players too, we're developing coaches. And to have Cole come back here now, like that's everything. And you want to talk about family and blah, blah, blah. Well, are you actually bringing your people back then? Like that's a family to me. And so bringing Cole back, like that's part of the family. And then now I have a GA that Baylor Heb, who used to play here too. And we'll have another GA that's coming later that played here as well. So when you talk about family, you better be that this is really about family. We're not 1, 2, 3 family. We live it. And so I think that's a little different than some other places. But and then going to Jimmy, with Jimmy on staff, it's surreal for me because I've known him for 17 years. Since I was a 19, 20-year-old little, like, trying to figure out running hills at Kirkwood Community College. And you're spot on. I mean, the biggest compliment I got was from Coach Jacobson when I told him, I was like, yeah, Jimmy's coming too now. And he goes, oh, thank God he's out of the league. And that was like I needed right there. I wasn't searching for one, but for Coach Jacobson to say that about Jimmy, from not only from a recruiting perspective, from the type of person that he is, and then also from an X's and O's standpoint, like he's the total package. He's going to be a head coach soon. Like he probably will not be with Colorado State for very long, I would guess. But I'm thrilled to have him here, and he brings a different level of obviously winning mindset, but also from a coaching perspective, like I'm going to do things different than Wardle, but he's done it in so many different ways. And they've won so much at Bradley, and they had 1 year where they completely fell off the map, and then they resurged, and they've been a consistent top 3 team in that league every single year. And I think that's what's been so impressive with Brian Wardle's program, obviously at Green Bay and then to this. It's been fun to follow his journey as a coach, but it's been more fun to steal him as well.
Yeah, that's cool. Sam, you want to start him off?
Yeah, Coach, we do a little thing called the shot clock. LT is going to fire off 4 or 5 quick questions for you. It could be one-word answers, could lead to a short story. Regardless, platform's going to be yours. LT, let's get it.
The shot clock brought to you by Illegal Pete's, the official burrito of the Full Court Network. I just want to throw that in. I love Illegal Pete. I once got a text message photo of our logoed sticker at Illegal Pete's that Coach Whitmore, Nick Whitmore took in Fort Collins. So if you've seen stickers, it's because Sam illegally puts them all over the place. So, all right. So I'm going to go very easy and very soft. All right. One word to describe Colorado State.
Ramley.
Okay. The song that best describes Coach Nico Medved.
All he listens to is jazz and blues. Like, it's kind of depressing. I don't want to say depressing because he's a happy guy, but every time I got in the car, it's always jazz and blues.
Okay. Well, when we asked him that, he said Juicy by Notorious B.I.G.
That's a choice.
Yeah.
That's a choice. Yeah, he said he doesn't like Drake, but he likes Big Papa and everything else too. Like, that's he claims more like the Tupac, Notorious B.I.G. Like he claims more of that area. But I only hear jazz and blues, so I don't know.
Okay. Give me we heard about all your coaching influences, but pick one coach and the best advice you're ever given.
Yeah, it's probably every single coach has told me this, but be yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's the best advice I've ever been. And that's like, Ben McCollum said that to me. Jeff Linder said that to me. Nico said that to me. So it's the best advice.
You
Okay.
must be doing something right, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or they not,
must-
or they think I'm not being myself. One of the two.
Yeah, one of the two. So Sam never gets a question in the shot clock, but I'm going to ask this. This is Sam's question. So if you don't like it, it's okay. Doesn't offend me. Short shorts or baggy shorts?
Man, it was a challenge in baggy shorts. I had to do it between the legs while my knees were
Dude,
getting
your
caught up.
shorts were almost went to your ankles.
Well, that was before we got Nike Elite status, so we were just getting the hand-me-down. Like,
There
you
go.
should feel those things. That was like 3 pounds of cotton on my leg. So like that's why I couldn't dunk. It wasn't because of me. It was the cotton.
That's right.
I wore short shorts when I played high school, and thank God the Fab Five was there my senior year. Best recruiting story
Best recruiting story.
or funniest?
Funniest recruiting story? Well, recruiting Nique Clifford is the worst experience ever. He said no the first time, but we went to his house and we had these shirts that we were going to wear, and Nico and I had polos on. We had these shirts underneath that his logo was on top next. So we had on top next with the CSU logo on, and we're like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're fully committed to you. Take the shirt off. And he's like, yeah, oh, this is awesome. Like, they know me. And then he commits to Colorado. Then in the portal, the next time he's like deciding, I call him like 10 seconds into the portal. We talk, whatever. Like, I'm like, all right, we're doing this again. Then he's going through the process and he's like, but it's between us and Loyola Chicago. And the reason why he wants to go to Chicago, like Loyola, is because he liked Drew Valentine, and then he likes the idea of Chicago. And I'm like, so finally it got to the point, I'm like, well, do you want to be a basketball player or you want to live in Chicago? Like, you can live in Chicago the rest of your life. Like, you want to play basketball or not? And so it kind of changed. That kind of changed a little bit. And he says that like that idea of like, is this a basketball decision? Well, then make it a basketball decision. And so then I'm frustrated in the portal that year. Like, it's not going well. And so I'm driving home and I'm like, whatever, I'm going to call Nique. So I call Nique and we're just talk for like 10 minutes and we're just talking about life. And then all of a sudden he goes, well, coach. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Anytime you get the well, coach, it's over. Like, it's done. He's not coming. So he goes, well, coach, I've been thinking about it a lot. I really appreciate our relationship. And I'm like, screw you. I want to hang up now. And then he goes, I've decided, but I made my decision. I've decided that he pauses and I'm like, what? I've decided I'm going to be a Ram. And I'm like, I'm mad, but happy, but mad. And so
he didn't say Rambler. He said
yeah,
Ram.
exactly. I should have questioned that too. I was like, no, finish the statement. Right. But so then he commits or whatever. And then I was like, well, have you told Nico? Yeah. He's like, no. I was like, well, call Nico. I should call him first. Then in the next time when he's going, and this wasn't really recruitment, but when he's going through the draft process, then nobody can get a hold of him on the deadline day. Like, we can't get a hold of him. We have no idea what's going on. We don't know if he's coming back. He has to fill out some forms and stuff, or they're not going to let him come back. We can't get a hold of him. So it's like 11 o'clock at night. Nico's on vacation in South Carolina, actually. So he's East Coast time zone. He's like up till midnight, 1 a.m. And we still don't know, like, did he finish? Did he do the paperwork? Like, is he coming back or not? Because he was on a plane flight back, but we didn't know where he was going. He was just on a plane. And so then I'm like, whatever. Like, I finally call his mom, like, Angel, like, what's going on? Like, did he do this? And she goes, you just trust me, everything's gonna be okay. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm going, like, it's worked out up to this point with him. Not it hasn't worked out with the commitments, but it's worked out. So I just go to bed, and then at 6 a.m. in the morning, he texted back when he landed. He was like, oh yeah, I'm excited to get back to work. And I'm like, all right, classic Nique, just like wait till the last minute and not actually tell you what's happening. But so I'm glad I don't have to recruit Nique anymore. I can just watch him with the Kings.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the like the player coach relationship. You know, we hear mixed messages with the
Sam. This is not a shot clock question. Can you wait for the last one, please? I got two more questions.
It sticks with this for a second, LT, because it's like we hear so many conflicting stories with like transfer portal, right? Is it good? Is it bad? Do changes need to be made? And like it seems like the people are always criticizing the relationship the coach has with the player isn't as important anymore, right? But in a situation like this, you recruited Nique out of high school, you kept that relationship strong, and then you're able to re-recruit these guys later on in their journey if you don't get them the first time. Is that pretty accurate? Like just keeping that relationship piece as strong as ever?
Yeah, and I think just being real with people and treating people the right way too. I'll never get mad at someone for not choosing to come here. I don't agree with it, but I still believe like everything happens for a reason too. Like Nique would have been in the. I joke with him. He would have been in the NBA 2 years earlier if he would have come here first. But he had to go through something, and he had to go through that situation and all those shortcomings and kind of the pain he went through at Colorado. He probably had to go through that before he got here. So everybody's journey is different, and I think you got to. It's respect everyone's decision. If they want to go somewhere else and make that decision, well, that's fine. We'll keep moving on. There's somebody else going forward, and it's worked out for us pretty well when people have gone other places and either come back, or we've gotten a kid that maybe we thought we wanted this kid and somebody else popped up, and it's worked out for us up to this point. And I just think that's the way you treat people. And to be honest, it probably stems a little bit from how I was recruited, and some of the people when I told them no, how they reacted to me. I'm never going to react that way, because it's no one else's decision, and no one else is going to live this besides that kid. And they have to make the decision that they believe at the time is best for them. So I don't blame everyone for that, even if I think it's wrong or I think it's not the right one, but it's their life to live it out too.
Yeah. Yeah. So after I was rudely interrupted again by Sam, this is going on almost 25 years.
Yeah.
So they're making it, last question. They're making a Hollywood movie about your life. What would the title of the movie be? Who would play you? And what is the theme song of that movie?
The title of it? Man. Something along the lines of like, don't give up. Because I should not be here right now. And people always say this too, and like this is a tangent. This has nothing to do with what you just asked me, but like it frustrates me sometimes when people think that like, okay, like man, he made it because he made, like, he's a head coach because he made that shot, right? And that's why he got to this position. Well, how do you think I got to the position to make that shot in the first place? I just randomly showed up and got to shoot that shot against Kansas. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears of my whole life that led up to that moment as well, that then allowed me to, it did. I absolutely, that shot allowed me to be in a position to make a phone call to Tim Miles that got me in the door easier than most people were able to. But I had 15 years of sacrifice leading up to that point to be in that position to be able to shoot that shot as well, and gave up a lot of different things to get there too. So I think there's something along the lines of don't give up. Man, Juicy's stuck in my head now, but that probably wouldn't go with that. I probably Eminem 8 Mile, like that song would probably be the one I'd go with. And who's playing me? I don't know. My wife now, like, I'm stuck on this thing. She thinks Richard Pitino looks like me. He's not an actor, but he's a good friend. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see who I would pick. But I do. There's
Bradley Cooper.
Oh yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, that's good. You give me way too much credit, but I'll take it.
Yeah, there you go. We got Bradley Cooper. So you passed, you failed. Sam, finish him off for me, boss.
Yeah, Coach, we're going to kind of turn it over to you the last minute of the show. Anything you want to share to the Northern Colorado community, the Colorado State alumni, fan base, boosters, what they can look forward to this season, about the Ramley. You talk a lot about family on our episode. I love it. It seems like you're incredibly invested in the community. And, just being able to go to games myself, you're always holding your kids in the tunnel, like it's, you're all about it. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Anything you want to share with the Fort Collins, Colorado State Ramley?
Man, I'm just excited to get going again. And obviously we'll be visible and people will be able to see us out in the community. And like, that's who our staff is as well. And I think this year more so than previous years, like I hope we can get to the point where people feel like they know these kids going into November's games. And I felt like the past year we didn't really get to introduce these new guys until it was January and February. And then it's like, man, then the season's over and you just got to know them then. And so I want us to be able to say that like you get to know who Brandon Rexsteiner is earlier, Josh Pasquarelli, Kerry Booth, all these new guys that we have coming in. I want them to feel connected to the community, and I want our community to feel connected to them, because they are the same type of kids we've always had. They might be different faces, but same type of character, same type of people. And that's what I'm most proud of. And I can't wait for everyone in this community to get to know them on a deeper level than them just making threes and making the right play, but who they are as people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Coach, we really appreciate you're going to stick on for one more second. Sam, that was a good one. I'm excited for the Rams in their last year of the Mountain West, and then they go to the Pac-2, 4, 6, 8, 12. Who do we appreciate? Coach Ali, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We're big fans of you. You're going to do awesome in your first year as the head man. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We'll be back on the Full Court Press, a college basketball coaches show next week. And keep following and liking the Full Court Network. And we'll see you next week. We'll be back.